Thank you again, everybody, for joining us today. It's wonderful to see all of your beautiful faces joining us virtually. And we're very pleased to have with us not just one, but two members of the Brahma Kumaris joining us tonight. And first of all, we're going to have Elizabeth Padilla, Sister Elizabeth Padilla, who is joining us from the Anubhuti Retreat Center in Novato, and who's going to share with us a musical gift.
In this in this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes to see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals. Love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I think I've lost my way, then I go inside and quiet my mind. I can hear the Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Only love.
Thank you so much, Sister Elizabeth. That was beautiful. We are so blessed always by your presence and by your voice, by your spirit. And thank you for this beautiful reminder that there is only love. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, as we mentioned earlier, we're blessed to have two members of the Brahma Kumaris with us, Sister Elizabeth, who just graced us with music, and our meditation leader for tonight, and Annie Jorgensen, who has studied and practiced Raja Yoga meditation with the Brahma Kumaris for the past 15 years, an experiential approach to deepen inner peace and contentment, and to understand and harmonize more deeply our relationships with self, others, and the divine. As a retired educator with an MS in educational counseling, Annie is a facilitator and board member of Living Values Education Incorporated, a nonprofit global endeavor of educators dedicated to nurturing the hearts in educating the minds of children and young adults of all ages. And we're very blessed and fortunate that she is also a member of our MIC Board of Directors. So it's with great joy I welcome back as our meditation leader tonight, Annie Jorgensen.
Thank you all. Thank you, Scott. That was such a nice introduction. You know, the song is just, I think what we all want to live is just these vibrations of peace and love and harmony and well-being. And I thought maybe I would briefly introduce to you Raj Yoga meditation as understood and practiced by the Brahma Kumaris. And with this tool, that we could do a little bit of exploration of this love and of some other qualities that the soul is deeply within, naturally within the core of the being. So I thought I would start with just talking about Raja Yoga and what it means briefly. So Raja means king or very elevated, and yoga means connection. So the idea, aim in Raja Yoga meditation is to first connect the inner self with an ending and an experience of what the soul is, and experience of the beauty, the eternal beauty of the soul. And through that experience, to be able to use those energies and those virtues as we go out in the world every day and are dealing with people, places, things, and sometimes difficult situations. The premise in this Raj Yoga meditation is first that I am an inner being, a soul. And maybe a way to understand this is that in the term human being, Latin term meaning humus, which means physical, of the earth, of the ground. So we know the body is physical, and it operates constantly in everything we are doing out there. But the understanding that we have is there is an internal engine to the body. It's kind of like the body is a car, but there is the inner navigator, the inner driver, which is the soul. And so what happens sometimes is that we get so involved in what is going on outside, all the complications, all the situations, all the things we have to cope with and do, that we forget the driver inside. We forget the qualities of the driver and who is that driver. And we become so identified with the material world with all the things and all the people and all of that, that we oftentimes don't take time to rediscover the inner self. And so I thought it would be nice if we could do a little bit of meditation based on the 4 steps of Raj Yoga meditation to experience the inner, gorgeous, beautiful qualities that belong to every soul and every being. So the first step in Raj Yoga meditation is to, first of all, become introverted, to come inside ourselves. And actually, a great thing to do before we meditate then is to just, and to be able to go inside, is to check the body, you know, check, are there any places that are uncomfortable, and just to release any discomfort that we may feel in the body. And to just scan the body briefly now. And if you're feeling uncomfortable anywhere, just to go to that place and allow it to release and to let go. And a way to do this is to breathe. So breathing in, and then just release the breath and just allow the body to go into some deep relaxation. Let's try that again. Breathing in. And as we breathe out, just allow the body to release, to let go, and to come into a deeper position of relaxation. So as we do this, we can let go of any noises, any sounds, people moving past us, whatever's happening, and just allow everything on the outside to be as it is, and to focus more on the inside, to accept the world in this moment as it is, to let go of everything that happened during my day today that may have been uncomfortable, anything, anyone, and just allow myself to be. Just to be me. So the second step after allowing myself to internalize is to choose a theme, something I'd like to think about. And they say that when we create beautiful thoughts, elevated thoughts, it allows us to feel more elevated. You know, my inner world, when I start slowly creating more beautiful thoughts, more positive thoughts about myself, this inner process of creating beautiful thoughts, positive thoughts, deeply affects my outer world. It's like putting on a different pair of glasses. When I decide to shift my thinking, I have to be aware, but when I am having a thought that is disturbing or that is taking me down, and this can happen at any time during the day. It can happen when we first get up in the morning, if we're holding on to something from yesterday that wasn't pleasant. But I can slowly choose to replace a negative or a kind of a waste thought, a thought that I really don't need, that's not going to benefit me. I can choose something that is more positive. Just even accepting myself exactly as I am in this moment, completely. And so this step of focus on a theme, we can focus, I'd like to focus on the eternal core qualities of the inner being, the inner light. So the understanding that we have in Raj Yoga is that this inner being is a conscient, energetic light, a beautiful being that is eternal, that never dies. Everything in our outer world, on this planet right now, is shifting, changing constantly. We've seen it especially in this last year. Nothing that we can, really bank on. Everything is temporary, everything is impermanent. We know the physical body is impermanent, but the inner being, that spark, that sparkle that we perceive in the third eye, behind the two eyes, the I am. This being is forever. This is the true me. And so the understanding that we have is that every soul, every being on this planet, deep within the core, is peace, is a pure being of exquisite light and purity. Soul is love. So if the soul is love, then I, the being, I don't need to look outside for love, for peace, for happiness, because these are my eternal qualities. And if I can shift my glasses, the way I'm viewing the world, just for a moment, the way I'm viewing others, if I can shift the awareness perhaps I can, for that moment, see the one in front of me or the one I'm thinking about as a beautiful light. And maybe they don't realize it, but we can realize it. And if I realize that the one I'm looking at is a pure, peaceful, powerful, loving, blissful light in essence, then my whole world shifts. Yes, I still have to deal with personalities that may be unkind, personalities that may seem very harsh and mean and ugly spirited. Yes, I need to cope and I need to deal with that. But if I understand that perhaps it's just an ignorance, a misunderstanding, that the soul is not able to see itself, then I can have compassion and understanding. I still have to abide by my own principles, but at least I can view others with more compassion and more understanding. So I'm going to read just for a moment. I don't know what the time is. I'm going to read for a moment a piece. And when I finish, I'll just play this little gong, or it's something I had when I was a teacher. It's a little chime, and you can take a moment and reflect. And then if we have time, we can do another brief meditation. I don't know if I finished, so we focus on this topic. So I'm going to focus on the self and our qualities. And then the whole purpose of Raj Yoga meditation is to see what my experience is. Am I having an experience, and what is that experience? And sometimes it's not always a great experience. Sometimes what happens is it opens up something inside of me that is fragile and vulnerable and feels uncomfortable. But it's okay, because sometimes those things have to come up to be held. And then if we hold them in honoring the complete being, then they can be released. I remember in the Course in Miracles, I'll never forget one particular line, and that was that love brings all things impure up to the surface to be cleansed and to be purified. So that's part of the process too. Recognizing our inner beauty, and also recognizing that through time and experiences, we have shielded ourselves with maybe not always the perfect qualities, but to protect ourselves in a way that we needed to at the time. And so some of that might come up. Okay, so I'm going to start this little meditation. If you just want to close your eyes, or you can keep them open, just relax and just feel and experience. Beyond the physical, the social, the cultural self. Behind all of those masks is the real me. It's the self that is immortal, an energetic point of pure, radiating light, the eternal me. In silence and in concentrating my thoughts, I remember my original goodness. This is my innate blueprint. It's a blueprint of peace, a blueprint of purity, a feeling and a remembrance of complete freedom. The deeper I go into this inner silence, into this focused thought, the more I recognize my original beautiful blueprint of my soul self. In this silence, it's as if I feel a current of energy emerging that's connected to my original self. I feel an energy flow a very pure, sweet feeling of love. And in this love, a very gentle and sweet, silent, and yet powerful energy is released naturally in the space around me. And in this way, very silently, we contribute to the atmosphere around us in a positive way. Who am I ask myself. I am eternal, immortal energy. I am a being of deep peace. I am a soul. I, the soul, am an instrument for change. So I'm going to just stop there for a moment, and if you want to reflect or you want to write something down, you can do that. You know, well, just stop for a moment. Okay, is it okay to go on? I wanted to do one more briefly. Is that okay, Scott?
Of course.
Okay. Um, so, let me see. Whoops. So if we take this meditation one step further, typically the aim, the ultimate aim in Raj Yoga is to create elevated thoughts about ourselves, to see the truth of the soul, these qualities that every human being, the human, but the being, has, and this is the core of the soul. But one interesting thing is that through time, our understanding is that through time, the soul has lost power. And we need the power. I mean, we look at our world and the situation today in the world, and we need power to move through and to deal with everything that we're faced with every day. And so maybe I have this much power some days. Maybe some days I feel like I have a little bit more, but we need power. The soul needs more power. And our understanding is there is one source. There is one place, one being. And we call it the divine. You can put whatever name you want. I think there are 1,000 names, I think I read somewhere, for the name of God. The supreme being, the divine source, the source of pure light, pure energy. And through Raj Yoga, the aim is to, by the soul, so you can imagine like a cord that you plug into the wall, you know, the rubber on the outside or the insulation. The human being is kind of like that. So as we become what we call soul conscious, which only means in this moment, I am aware that I am something beyond the body. I'm a being of these beautiful qualities. And I also have powers that I can draw from as I connect with the Supreme. I have these qualities. So to draw power, I release the awareness of the body. So for instance, I say, okay, if I want to go to that presence, I I don't go as Annie, because that's more, you know, Annie is the one that, you know, lives in El Dorado Hills and, you know, was a member of the, you know, MIC and, you know, all these different things, all these different external things. But if I go deep within and I say, well, I am a soul. My brothers and sisters are souls. They're playing a part. We play roles. We play different parts, and we enjoy this play that we're playing until things get kind of bad, and then it's not that much fun anymore. And then we really, I think a lot of us are looking for a deeper connection with the divine. And so to draw the power, I become the soul. I let go of all the roles and all the parts that I play, and I just become that beautiful shining light. And I come into a silence. And I remember there is a place of silence beyond this world. And we know the mind can travel. We can travel in a second. The mind can. Anywhere. And so the mind can also travel beyond the physical. And as a soul, my aim is to create beautiful thoughts, to elevate the consciousness so I am vibrating at a higher level as a soul. And when I do that, when I start vibrating at a higher level, that vibration attracts a vibration that is similar. And so this is how I connect with the divine. So let's just take a moment and let's just feel like, well, however you want to feel, but let's experience and remember that we are essentially divine ourselves. So I remain introverted. I connect with the light of I, the soul. And come into a silence again. And it's very, very nice to experience the divine as a beautiful friend, because a friend is someone who you can always trust. A friend is someone who who will never gossip about you, who will never betray you, a true friend. And so let's imagine the supreme, the divine, as our truest friend. The one who only sees us in our beauty, in our light. So from this silence, through a beautiful friendship with the divine, I bring myself close to that point of powerful energy, the one who is always full, the one who has unlimited qualities and virtues, who is an ocean of love, an ocean of knowledge, ocean of truth and light. And I get close to this being. And I allow myself to feel a current that is powerful, that is pure, that is filled with so much love for the soul. And I allow this light, this current, to envelop the soul. It's a soft, sweet, and yet powerful, energetic flow that we can experience. This is God's love for each and every one of us. The dearest friend, the one who takes all the sorrow, all the pain, all the wounds from the past, all the suffering, the one who gives us an injection, a spiritual injection. All the virtues and all the powers we can imagine, deep, deep within the soul, and holds us like a child. I, the soul, the supreme is a soul. And so I accept this injection of power, of pure love and peace. And feel the restoration of the soul. And remember who I am, and that I can always come to the Supreme, the Divine, and get full once again. And so I experience myself here in the body, And just feel the body taking a lot of energy as well. Feeling the sparkle of the inner self. Oftentimes we, at the Brahma Kumaris, I know a lot of others say this too, we will say Om Shanti when we finish or when we open. Om is I am. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I am a being of deep peace. Thank you. First part is to become introverted. So we want to kind of let go of our external world, let go of everything. Especially in the evening, it's a really good thing to do, but also first thing in the morning. So it's come inside and remember that I am an internal being, that I am that beautiful light, just to come inside. And the second step is to choose a topic that that is interesting for me. Now, if I'm planning on connecting with the Supreme Being, with the divinity or the divine light, I want to make sure it's a topic that is going to resonate with, so some kind of an elevated thought, or you could go with a question as well. We can always go with a question that we have and then just sit in that silence. This is the big thing, is my understanding is that the divine loves a clear, honest heart. So if I am completely honest with God, all the dirt, all the stuff that happens, everything, if I can lay that out and say, and this is it's a journey, it's a constant, it's a developing relationship. Actually, is the way we see it, is that every day I create more of a relationship with the divine. And this is part of what we teach with the Raj Yoga course. But just so have a honest, open heart. And you can go with a question, or you can go with an elevated thought of some kind, or just even, thank you to the divine for that I even can recognize the beauty of who you are, and that I know that I'm connected with you. Just that kind of conversation or any question. Then what we do is then you go focus in. You focus on that point of, for clarity. You go deeper in. It's not something where, I remember when I first started, I had it wrong, and it was frustrating because you don't want to create tension. It's not about, the focus is not about creating tension, because tension is kind of a negative thing, and that will not elevate my thinking. But if I just start thinking and creating thoughts that are building on that thought that I have, and have a true heart, I do that. And then I take myself as a soul, as the light, vibrationally elevating myself and connecting with the Supreme Soul. You can also just it's not just, it's also good to have a conversation with the self, and to focus on qualities of the self, or something that we want to clear up within the self. But the main aim is to also connect with the divine, because the divine has all the power. The divine has an ocean, a limitless ocean of power, and that ocean only wants to give. That's all it wants to do. It wants to give to us. It wants to help us recognize who and what we are, that we are these beautiful beings. But over time, we see life as a cycle. And anyway, so over time, we've accumulated dust and dirt and rust on the soul. And part of that connection is to clean up or clear off that dirt, that dust, because under that is the magnificent jewel, is the diamond that we each are. We're all these diamond lights, and we have all these facets and all these beautiful talents. And if if we can possibly think of, you don't have to, but if we've lived more than one life, let's say, then if we've lived multiple lives, we've accumulated, we have been through a lot of different situations. And so, and if we haven't, that's fine too, because we've been through a lot in this life, however you see it. And so it's being able to dust ourselves off, clean ourselves up, and take power from God, and then feel, writing in our journals, what was my experience? How did that feel? And we actually talk about having, all relationships with the divine. So we talk about the divine can be my teacher, my parent, my best friend, my companion, my guide. There are just so many beautiful relationships, so that the soul, when I get into soul awareness, that only means I'm getting into the awareness that in this moment, oh yes, I remember, I'm that being of light. I'm here, I'm playing these parts, I'm doing these things. I know the body is perishable and it's going to die. But when I know that I, the inner being, am eternal. And if you think about it, when we've seen people that have had near-death experiences, just on that one hand, and they have been able to travel beyond, and they've gone into the light, and they've had such a powerful experience. But for whatever reason, their story is, it wasn't time for them to travel again, but they came back. And it changed probably every person's life that ever had a near-death experience. So, and they experienced themselves as that light, as a being of light. If you've ever read the story of, it's a fabulous story, Dying to Be Me, that many of you have probably heard of her, Anita Moorjani. It's an incredible story. You can find her on YouTube. It was Wayne Dyer who discovered her and made her quite famous. But she had stage 4 cancer, and she had, I don't know if any of you know, she had these terrible tumors riddled all over her body. She was in Hong Kong, and she had a near-death experience. She left the body, and oh my gosh, you could probably read the book online. Her experience was so life-changing, and when she decided she had to come back so that she could share what she learned as a being of light with the world, because she felt that it was her responsibility. And she said, you know, it's kind of like that Marianne Williamson saying, you know, don't play small. You're this incredible light, and yet we're taught, especially, I'm sorry, but especially women are taught to play things down, you know, play small, don't get into your power. It's just the way the world is right now, and has been probably for a long time. But when she came back into the body, her tumors completely dissolved within, I don't know if it was 3 weeks or what, and she wanted to be discharged. The doctors could not explain it. They wanted her to stay because they couldn't figure it out, what happened to her. And but her story was that she played it small her whole life. She didn't love herself. And she was always trying to do for everybody else. But she didn't know herself, and she didn't love who she was. And so she played it very small. And then when she had this experience, it was so incredibly powerful that her whole life changed. And I remember at the time I read it, I really needed to read that book because I was going through a big transition at the time. But there are many, many stories like this. And so it's all documented, those things. And people that have, it's a different aspect, but past life remembrances, you know, this is amazing too. So there's a whole very interesting course of study that we do. I mean, I'm certainly not trying to sell anything, but if anybody ever wants to take the Raj Yoga course, nonprofit, we do everything free. In fact, that's why Elizabeth had to leave, because she's giving this course, and it goes through soul, supreme soul, it goes through karma, it goes through a lot of different aspects of understanding what's going on, you know, in our lives, and how we can integrate and become powerful. So anyway, I just, that's all. I'm sorry, Scott, you're so kind to just let me talk because I know we're over, but I guess we just have to realize that we're amazing, we're beautiful, we're eternal. And you know, when you realize that, you stop losing fear of death. It takes practice though, because we tend to default and go back to our old thinking. We do that a lot. And so to come out of that old thinking and to remember, I am a pure, powerful, peaceful, loveful being of light. You know, we just can repeat that during the day and just remember. And sometimes, you know, just go like this, push the button on, oh, I'm going to go into soul consciousness instead of that whole, you know, kind of chaotic thing on the outside, because the inner world defines the outer world. It really does.